Welcome to the Test Kitchen. On this channel, we like to review popular recipes throughout the internet. I'm sure most of you have been through YouTube where you've seen people cook recipes for different types of foods, and at the end of every video, they give you a reaction like this.
If this isn't the greatest chicken parm that you've ever had in your life, DM me.
Ribeye. That's the shit you pay a lot of money for.
Wow. Okay. Now we're talking.
Woo! Yeah!
Then you're left looking at the video going, okay, the food does look good, and yeah, I would totally eat that, but is it really worth the time and energy it takes to make it and try it out for yourself? Or is it worth the money it takes to go and try and make it for yourself? Because it's one thing to say, okay, I gotta go buy these ingredients, but if I don't like the dish, then I'm just left with all these ingredients. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do with them. So that's where we come in. We like to break it down by those three things. Does it taste good? Does it cost in the right spot to give it a try? And the amount of time and energy it takes to actually make the product. So, once we go through those criteria, we'll give it a score at the end of our video saying whether it's worth it or not. And maybe even give some critiques on how we might tweak it. So, in today's video, we're gonna go over You Suck at Cooking's fries.
So this recipe starts out by peeling your potatoes. Pretty self-explanatory. Grab a peeler and peel the skin off. Once you have the skin peeled off, you're going to cut one end off of one of the potatoes, lay it flat so you have a nice work surface, and you cut those into medallions. Once you have your potato medallions, you're going to go ahead and cut those into matchsticks. I like to cut them individually, as you can see here, because it gives you more even sizing for even cooking. But if you really want to save on time, you can stack them all up and cut them all at once. It's a lot faster. Next, you're going to get a pot of water boiling, and you're going to add about 2 tablespoons of vinegar and about 2 to 3 tablespoons of salt. The salt, a lot like pasta, will add flavor to your potatoes. Once those potatoes are done boiling for about 8 to 10 minutes, you're going to go ahead and strain them out into a colander and set those potatoes onto a towel to dry out in the open air. Now, we weren't going to do the cheese sauce, but since he did one, we went ahead and did one as well. So you can go ahead and shred your cheese while you're waiting on those fries to dry and waiting on the oil to come up to temp, which took way too long. But you want your oil to be at 375 degrees for your first fry. It's going to be a total of 1 minute of fry time for your first run through. And when you're done with that first 1 minute on all of your fries, you're going to let them sit out on a paper towel in the open air until they come to room temp. It's roughly 20 to 30 minutes. So while you're waiting those 20 to 30 minutes, we can go ahead and start the cheese sauce. What you want to do is add your butter to your pan and get that all nice and melted till it starts to bubble. Then you're going to add in your flour. This is equal parts, so whatever amount of butter you put in, that's the amount of flour you need to put in. Once that thickens up and you get that flour cooked out and you're looking for roughly a blonde roux, is what it's called, you're going to start adding in your milk. Now, I don't like to give specific amounts for this because whatever your milk amount is has to be consistent with a certain level of thickness you want your sauce to be. So if your sauce is too thick, add a little bit more milk. If your sauce is too thin, let it cook down and get thicker. So I just did that up until I got to what looked like a nice velvety sauce. That's when you start to add in your cheese. As you add in your cheese, you have to stir constantly. You will get your cheese incorporated, it will mix in and melt, and it'll look like one smooth sauce. You're going to add your cheese in batches as well. You don't want to throw it all in at once, otherwise you're going to get lumps. So kind of space out into, like, I like to do it into quarters, but I've seen some people do it into thirds. Once you have all your cheese incorporated, you're going to add a tablespoon of garlic powder and a tablespoon of thinly sliced chives. You can really add whatever kind of seasonings you want here. This is just what he put in his, so I went ahead and matched it. Now that your cheese sauce is done, you should be ready to do your second fry. Your second fry is the same temperature, 375 for 3.5 minutes. And once you pull them out of the fryer, you want to go ahead and salt them right away because the salt will stick while they're hot. Once you do that with all your fries, you're ready. Plate up your fries, plate up your cheese sauce, and there you have it. So, French fries. I've seen plenty of recipes like this one. Multiple frying, getting extra crispy fries. But this one took 2.5 hours. Now I'm sure this recipe works great if you're making it for one person. When you're making a batch of them for, 4 or 5 people, like a typical family, it takes much longer because you have to fry in batches because you can't overfill your pot, and it was rough. So hopefully the taste will save it, but our price point wise, it's fairly the same as buying a pack of frozen fries at the store and using that. So we'll see. Let's see. No, it's not worth it. Honestly, it tastes just as good as the frozen fry you would buy at the store, and that takes you like 10 to 15 minutes to throw together if you're deep frying it. Takes you like 5 to 8 minutes in an air fryer. This just isn't worth it. I have nothing I could say. I mean, don't get me wrong, they taste great. Flavor's good. They do have a nice crisp on them. I mean, we try the cheese sauce here, which, we weren't really rating the cheese sauce, but he did a cheese sauce, so we went ahead and did too. Cheese sauce is good. Nothing wrong with that, but yeah, all in all, this one, I wouldn't bother with it. It just takes too long if you're cooking for more than one. If you're cooking for one, maybe, yeah, give it a try, but this one's not worth it for us. So, if you can hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, we greatly appreciate it.